So one of the biggest complaints Injustice 2 and 1 had was the a little bit excessive amount of Batman characters in the game. The DC universe is massive and they have tons of possible characters they could use. So this made me think, could Batman strike out on his own and make his own fighting game? Well, that answer is actually yes. Batman could do that very easily. In this video, I'm going to go into the discussion why Batman would be able to do it so easily and what I think it would look like. So, let's get into it. So to start this list, let's talk about Batman's popularity as a character and his brand. Now, Batman is the 14th highest grossing media franchise ever. In fact, he's the only DC property that makes the top 25. His popularity is because of many reasons: the animated TV shows, his plethora of movies, video games, and most importantly, his comics. Even those who are not involved in the comic book genre will recognize the bat symbol and could even tell you who his secret identity is. Batman is now rooted in our culture thanks to the 80 plus years of content. Which brings me to the point why Batman would work as a fighting game. The main reason is his brand is extremely recognizable. There is so much to work with, over 80 years of story arcs to pull from, plenty of places to be stages, countless allies and adversaries to be in the roster, and plenty of history between those characters to make an interesting story. Compared to other heroes in the comic book genre, not everyone has the same effect. Yes, Superman has plenty of history to choose from, and he has a very reputable collection of villains, but are they as recognizable as Batman's rogues gallery? I don't think they are. And when we are trying to bring people into a fighting game, the roster is always super important. If Smash Brothers and Marvel vs. Capcom has showed us anything, having a good roster goes a long way. Batman has done a wonderful job gaining allies throughout his years. He has trained multiple new proteges and partners. He has also gathered hands down the best assortment of villains out of any comic book hero. With that said, you could literally draw a line in the sand and pick one-to-one heroes and villains to make a roster in the Batman mythos. Batman, as the younger kids like to say, just has the sauce. I extremely enjoy Batman, but I have grown to enjoy the rest of his mythos as well. I have always been a fan of proteges, secretly because I was waiting for some person to show up and teach me Krav Maga, but that never happened, so at least I got to go home after school every day and watch some kid do it. We kinda, to an extent, have watched these characters grow up the same time we did. I've mentioned before, but Nightwing is my all-time favorite superhero. I'll play pretty much any game that he's available in. I know this follows suits with the other Robins, Batgirls, and Batwoman, and just plain and simple the rest of his family. And that's just the hero side. Batman's villains are nuts, and in a good way. The Joker is one of the most recognizable bad guys in history. He's up there with Vader, Dracula, and even Voldemort. He is an absolute icon, and his sidekick, well, his former sidekick, is one of the most popular female characters in comic books. Harley Quinn is huge. I've said it before, she carries a lot of weight for the entire franchise. I'm not saying she's as big as Wonder Woman, but she is without a doubt a juggernaut. Also, Batman fans always have a certain villain they click with. For example, I'm a weirdo and I love when the Penguin shows up. I think he is a great villain because he's campy and he reminds me of the simpler times of comics. You know, like bank heists and holding something for ransom. Some others don't like that, but they like the deep lore behind Two-Face, his split personalities, and his history with Bruce. Anyways, what I'm trying to say here is when it comes to putting a roster together, Batman already has a perfect group to become a roster. And to be honest, most people would still buy this game regardless just to be able to play only as Batman. His appeal is so broad, I would wager this could go and work outside of fighting games. I could imagine him doing a battle royale, like something like a hero shooter could work. A racing game where you customize the Batmobile. Hell, a Pokemon Puzzle League, but you use Batman and have to beat all the villains all the way through Arkham Asylum. I mean, the Arkham games partially were great because they were just good games, but you also literally got to be Batman. Now, when it comes to what kind of studio I would like to take over to make this game, I would personally still like keeping it with NetherRealm. They've done a pretty solid job keeping things true and creative to the DC universe. But if I couldn't go with NetherRealm, I wouldn't mind seeing it handed off to Capcom. The Marvel vs. Capcom team fighter style I think would be pretty fun, especially if you can make a big roster. Being able to pick a team of, say, Nightwing, Poison Ivy, and the Penguin sounds super fun, and I would be down to play that in a heartbeat. After talking to a few people, I've been finding out that I may be alone in this, but apparently people don't care that much about the story. The lore of fighting game characters is like super intriguing to me. I've spent more time learning about the cast of Tekken and Street Fighter than I care to admit, but if I had to come up with a story arc for a Batman fighting game, I think it would be pretty cut and dry. Battle for Gotham. 3 words and everyone knows what the game is about. My immediate thought is to do something akin to No Man's Land. Gotham is split up and the Bat family have to keep it in check. The Joker does something diabolical and you have to team up with good and bad guys to stop him. And boom, there's your story. It may be just one city, but there's plenty of places to utilize. The GCPD, the Iceberg Lounge, Wayne Manor, Arkham, and Ace Chemicals. I truly think that a Batman fighting game would do great, and here is what I would like to see if I had a chance to pick the roster. So we got Batman. Duh. That's kind of obvious. We have the 4 Robins in their current form. We have Dick Grayson Nightwing, Jason Todd Red Hood, Tim Drake Red Robin, and Damian Wayne as current Robin. Barbara Gordon as Batgirl, Kate Kane as Batwoman, Stephanie Brown as Spoiler, Cassandra Cain as Orphan, Helena Bertinelli as Huntress, Commissioner Gordon as Commissioner Gordon, Luke Fox as Batwing, Harper Row as Bluebird, Duke Thomas as Signal, and let's add in Alfred as a meme character. And I almost put a few characters up here, but I decided they kind of skirt the line of hero and anti-hero, so we might as well put them in their own little category. Why not? And in this list, we have Harley Quinn, Catwoman, Clayface, Gotham Girl, and Azrael. They are all good and or bad, so they sit somewhere in the middle, and that will bring us up to 20. Now for the villains. Clearly, we have to have the Joker. Then we're going to bring in Punchline, Joker's new right-hand clown, the Riddler, Two-Face, the Penguin, Bane, Poison Ivy, Scarecrow, Mr. Freeze, Firefly, Man-Bat, Ra's al Ghul. I had trouble here if I was going to pick him or his daughter. However, as a skin, you probably could bring them both. Then we have Hush, Talon, Killer Croc, and lastly, we'll bring in Condiment King as a meme pick. And as a pre-order DLC, let's just for funsies do Terry McGinnis Batman Beyond. Now, I'm sure you can add and subtract at your leisure. In fact, let me know who you would want to add if Batman had his own fighting game in the comments below. Of course, I don't think this is actually happening. I definitely want it to happen, to be completely honest. This is just a fun speculatory video on what if. Also, I think Batman is the only character that could have this robust and recognizable roster. Before I get out of here, I want to mention, of course, I know teams could do this very easily. The Avengers, X-Men, Teen Titans, and of course NetherRealm is doing it currently with the Justice League and the Injustice universe. But these are teams. All the characters that I just mentioned are hanging under the banner of just a single superhero. Yes, if we're going to go on the other side, Spider-Man has tons of villains, but he does not have that many allies that are under his banner. They're just fellow superheroes. And that's why I think, but I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments below. For those who don't know, I stream on Twitch every Sunday. Come and hang out. You can find my page in the links below, along with all my social media tags. If you enjoyed the video today, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss a video. So my name is Phil, and of course, I'll talk to you guys soon.